Oh shit, what the fuck? Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. On our community Discord server, I uploaded I put up an announcement for some video suggestions because I wasn't exactly sure what you guys would like to see next from me. And one of our more long-term members, Ladyson, gave me a pretty good suggestion. I don't remember how exactly the message went, but it went something along the lines of, can you do something about, can you give book suggestions for Theistic Satanists, like Theistic Satanism 101? I should have put up a screenshot of it somewhere. But that's what we're going to be doing today. I've got a pretty sizable collection of books that I've acquired over the years. So in today's video, we're going to be going over a couple of those books. This won't be like my review and analysis series, because that took fucking forever. So we're just going to be having a quick brush over the books. I'll give them a good recommendation, or not a recommendation. Because some of the books I've got in my collection are quite special. Let's just call it that. But let's get into the video. If you enjoy what I do here and you like my content, drop me a like, drop me a sub, because it helps in the algorithm. But yeah, moving on to the first one. Anyone who knows my taste in books probably saw this first one come in, because it is one of my all-time favourites. I'd highly recommend this book to anyone who's beginning in Satanism or Demonolatry, Diabolism, anything like that. But it's the complete book of Demonolatry. It's quite a sizable book. This one will take you some time to get fully through. I've even gone through and bookmarked everything that I find interesting in it, like some of the rituals and some of the descriptions of the demons. But this book has a lot more uses outside of Demonolatry. This book contains sigils, it contains offerings, it contains ritual templates and altar templates. It's quite extensive. This book is, like, I could probably flip to any page on here and there's going to be something. Yeah, trying to find the sigils. Oh, there we are. Yeah. So ignore my amazing camera quality for this segment of the video, but this book does contain a good wealth of sigils you can use, like symbols, things like that. It also comes with a demon dictionary. I couldn't find it in this. Oh yeah, there it is, the demonic hierarchies. It comes with a dictionary of demons, which, as you can imagine, is really fucking helpful when you're looking for a patron demon, or you're looking for your next step in worship. This book comes as, I'd say this is probably one of the ones you should first buy. It's quite a nice book. It's well made. It's written by S. Connolly. Not sure what her first name is, but it's written by S. Connolly. It's quite extensive. It goes into a lot of detail. Like, this book is, I've had this book for about 4 years. Well, not this specific copy, but I've had this book for about 4 or 5 years, and I still don't think I've retained all the information in it. So that can just give you a bit of insight to how extensive this book actually is. It's a bit of a hard read. It's going to take you a couple times, but for like practical purposes, things like if you're looking for a patron demon, or you're looking for something to do on a satanic holiday, this is the book. Like, it's the one you're gonna want. But yeah, that's the complete book of Demonolatry. It's, as I said, it's quite extensive. It's way too long to fully cover in this small segment of the video, but I would highly suggest a few of you give it a read. I think it'll help a lot. It helped me along my along my path down Satanism anyway. So yeah, I'd highly recommend this book if you haven't already got a copy. But moving on to the next one, we got At Satan's Altar. For this segment, I was only going to cover At Satan's Altar, but I feel like both of Mary Ravensoul's books, they serve really the same purpose. They are essentially they're prayer books. They're prayer books for Satanists. They contain quite a few. The only difference between At Satan's Altar and Farms of the Devil is this one contains a dedication ritual, and it also goes over things like... Shit, I know. Hold on, let me find it. It goes over things like offerings, which really helped me along my path. You can tell this copy of At Satan's Altar is it's had its fair share of beatings over the years. It's quite used down. Yeah, it contains things like how to set up your own altar, how to offer things, what offerings you can give, what offerings you can't give. The only pet peeve I really have with this book is the way it frames the altar template. It says things in a way where you need things that you don't really need. Like, one of the things it says you need a treasure box in this one, which is like you put strands of your hair or your nail clippings in it, stuff like that. Money, things like it's like offerings really. But you don't really need that, you know. You can offer plenty of other things without doing that. I'm pretty sure that's what it was anyway. Don't quote me on that. It's been a while since I've read At Satan's Altar. Well, fully anyway. I come back to this book every once in a while. And Farms of the Devil, it is purely a prayer book. That's all it has in it. Which is, well, it's kind of at the fucking name, you know. It's Farms of the Devil. But yeah, I would recommend these books. At Satan's Altar especially, because there are prayers in this book that I still use to this fucking day, and I've been a Satanist for maybe 7 years, something like that. This book is... I bought this, like, I think it was maybe the second book I bought, and I still use the prayers from this book, because there are no better ones, you know, like, personally, I use... It's prayer before sleep and prayer upon waking. I can put a link to Mary Ravensoul's website, because I'm pretty sure all the prayers she has in this book are like free use on her website, but I don't want to put that shit here for like copyright purposes. Yeah, I would recommend At Satan's Altar. Farms of the Devil, it's one of the ones you can get, but it's not really like, you know, it's not gonna make much of a difference. You got a couple extra prayers you can use. Personally, I only really bought it as like a collector's thing, because I really like Mary Ravensoul's first book, and the artwork she has on her books, so it's very well made. The books are also really, really high quality. Well, I don't think this is vinyl. I don't think it's paperback. Is what I'm trying to think across here. It's a nice book. I would recommend At Satan's Altar. Farms of the Devil, not so much, but Mary Ravensoul herself, she's an amazing author, and I'm quite a big fan of her. But yeah, I would recommend these books. Now the next two, I might get in a little bit of trouble for, because the first one I'm going to cover has had a bit of... It's got a few bad connotations behind it within the community. But Kitab al-Jawwar, this book helped me a lot when I first began. It essentially acts as, I wouldn't say a satanic Bible, but it explains what Satan is. It explains the nature of Satan. It contains just... oh, don't know what that is. Something spilled on it. But it contains... there's the Arabic translation. It's written more like a scroll. It's written in the same way the Book of the Law is written, where it just has like, it has numbers and then each statement. It isn't like a flowing book. It's you know what I mean. It's written like this. It has that. It has 1 1 1 2 1. You know, as it goes. But this book, it kind of like outlines what Satan is like. I was, am now, and shall have no end. I exercise dominion over all creatures and all affairs who are under the protection of my image. I participate in all affairs, which those who are without call evil, because their nature is not such as they approve. Sound a little familiar? But yeah, I would also highly recommend this one. It has got bad connotations around there, because groups like JOS, things like that, they also use this book. They also use I think it's the Poem of Melek Taus. They use something like that. I don't use that one, I only use this one. But yeah, I would also recommend this one. There's not exactly too much I can say about it, except for it's a book about Satan. Like, it just contains statements from the perspective of Satan, which explains him, like, you know. But yeah, I would also highly recommend this one. I don't think it was the first book I got, but I've also had this copy for quite some fucking time, and I still do swear by this book. It's over 6 years old at least. So, the next book I've got, like the last one, it has bad connotation behind it. Some people would rip my face off for even comparing these two books, but I've grouped them together because, from my perspective at least, they are quite similar in content. They're written in the same way. As I mentioned in the last one, the Book of the Law. I didn't buy this book specifically for my own practice. I bought it more out of interest because I've seen people use this book in their personal practices, but I couldn't really get it to work with my own, really. But I do like the figure of Aiwas in this video, which is the messenger, according to Aleister Crowley. He actually attributes this book to Aiwas. He doesn't attribute it to himself, which I also find really nice. He says the figure of Aiwas. I'm not sure if he said if it has the form of Satan, but it was something like that. I've seen a lot of people worship Aiwas as a depiction of Satan, which I did also do for, I wouldn't say a while, but I considered the idea. I do like this book. It is I wouldn't only read this book and then go apply its practices to your own practice, because this book isn't outright satanic. It's written for Thelemic, Aleister Crowley's religion. I wouldn't say I recommend it, but I've grouped these two books together because they're similar in content. If you like the Kitab al-Jawar, there's probably a decent chance you'll also like the Book of the Law, except the only real difference between the books is this book is written from the perspective of Aiwas, but it covers the three figures. He has, like, I think it's Aiwas, Marmaduke. No. Oh, I'm not too sure. It's been ages since I've read this book because I didn't really apply what was in it to my own personal practice for obvious reasons. But it's written from the perspective of Aiwas, which Aleister Crowley calls the messenger, and it covers Aiwas and the two other, I wouldn't say they're gods, but the two other entities he believes in. He does also say that Aiwas is like, no, I'm pretty sure at some point he says Aiwas is his guardian angel and stuff like that. But yeah, as you can tell from my description of the book, I haven't really delved a lot into Thelema. It's not really my kind of thing. I do like Aleister Crowley's works. A lot of his practices, I wouldn't say practices, a lot of his works have had influence on my practice, but I haven't outright gone out of my way to go practice anything that he written or went out of his way to practice, like some of the Golden Dawn rituals, which I've also seen people adapt his rituals to Satanism, which I find really cool. I've also seen people do that with the Cthulhu cult books, if anyone knows what they are. That's another video idea for the future too. The Cthulhu Bible, if anyone else would like to see that, because I've been quite interested in that book for a while. But yeah, the Book of the Law. I wouldn't say I recommend it, but if you like Kitab al-Jawar, maybe this is the next step for you. You can apply this practice, well, apply the, you know what I mean, you can apply this to your personal practice, if it's your kind of thing. Personally, it's not for me, but if you like Kitab al-Jawar, you might like the Book of the Law too. And again, I'm recommending another one, which I might get in a little bit of trouble for, because this book also has some, I wouldn't say bad connotations, bad takes. That's some bad takes in it. But it's this book, Satanism, A Beginner's Guide to the Religious Worship of Satan and Demons. A very long title. But it's written by Brother Nero, also known as, I can't remember his other name, but he runs the Shadow Path Diabolism podcast. I forgot what his other, I don't know, he also goes by another alias. But he's also part of the same publishing company as Mary Ravensoul is. I'm pretty sure they're decently closely related, but the practices in this book don't seem to really, I don't think they are the same, like, but, you know. This book, from the very get-go, it tells you that you're not gonna agree with everything in it, which I do appreciate, because there's a lot in this book that I don't agree with, purely for the fact that it's silly, really. Some of the takes in this book are a little silly. Like, on one line, he said he compares Satanists to a race. And I remember in my review and analysis series, I also really didn't like that. But, yeah, because after all, this is religion, not race. You shouldn't really be propagating us versus them agenda, like, you know, we're all people, you know. But yeah, I would, you know, if you're not easily upset, well, if you're an actual Satanist, you'll enjoy this book. It has some bad takes in it, like I just said, but he outlines a lot of the, well, my camera nearly died though. It outlines a lot of the bad stuff in this community, like stuff like the atheistic Satanists stripping the significance from Satanism, and issues within the community like people constantly infighting and we're not actually getting anything done, things like that. You can go back and watch my review and analysis series. I didn't actually end up finishing reviewing this book because nobody was watching the series, and that was when I first started. I might go back and revisit it at some point. If you guys would like to see an actual, like, a full review of this book, I'll go back and revisit it. But it has some good messages. It encourages things like daily prayer, to constantly show your devotion. I'm pretty sure this also has a it also has an altar template in it. But a lot of these books also do. Believe it or not, like. But yeah, this book isn't as long as the others. It's quite a slim book, actually. Not as slim as something like Kitab al-Jawar or Book of the Law, but compared to the others, it is quite slim. It's a pretty easy read too, because this book isn't really old. It's quite modern for a satanic book. It is quite modern. But yeah, I would also recommend his podcast, the Shadow Path Diabolism podcast. If you're into diabolism, I used to be, but I'm not anymore because most of us grow out of that shit. But yeah, if you're into diabolism, or you're into reverse Christianity, well, first off, second, you would like this book. But yeah, if you're into diabolism or any kind of reverse Christianity, I would recommend this book. Because, unlike some of the other books, he does actually believe in the Christian God as well as Satan, which I know it's quite common, but I don't really see that a lot in books. It's usually just Satan. I don't believe in the Christian God, so I kinda, there's not much in this book I could use, but there are a few good tidbits of information. There's a few gems in here and there. I wouldn't say most of the book is good, but quite a portion of it is good information that will help you. But yeah. Now another book in the same vein as the last one, if you're into diabolism or reverse Christianity, you'll like this book. It is The Infernal Gospel. It's as close to quite literal reverse Christianity as you can get. It is, well, the person who wrote it is literally called Reverend Cain, so you can see where they pull a lot of their influence and that from. No, most Satanists wouldn't be being called Reverend, if anything. Let me just tell you that. But I wouldn't say I recommend this book because it doesn't really have a lot of information in it. Like, I'll show you in a minute, but the writing is very, very small, and it usually only contains like a tidbit of information per page, and that kind of takes the piss when you're trying to read a book. Like, you have to turn page and the writing's really small. You're looking at it like this, like. Or maybe I just need glasses. Either or, like. Oh, you watch. Next video I'll be showing up with glasses. But yeah, just to show you how actually small the writing is in this book, and how little writing it contains per page, I'm gonna switch the camera and show you guys. This is what I mean when I say it doesn't contain much per page and the writing is awfully small. I'm not sure if that's just me, but that writing is very small, and it doesn't just stop like that within the book. All throughout the book it's like this. Oh, why is my camera doing that? Well, hold on. Alright, never mind. My camera seems to be playing fuck, but it is like this all throughout the book. It doesn't contain much information per page, and it doesn't make much use of the space it has left in the book. It seems to just be a method to drag the book out. I've also seen that used in books like Satan's Bible, where they make the writing really, really, really big, just so it fills up pages. I'm guessing it's something to do with the publisher, like it needs to be over a certain amount of pages or whatever. Or maybe they'll just try and drag the page out because they're dicks. But either way, it doesn't contain a lot per page. It doesn't contain a lot of information. Some of you might like it, some of you may not. Another thing I really don't like about this book is in one of the descriptions of the holiday, it claims that Satanists used to sacrifice children to a demon on that specific day. And when I was first beginning, I read this book and I believed that, because, if you're a beginner and someone who's been practicing for, well, decades, I think, you believe that kind of stuff, don't you? But if you actually look into that, there is no evidence, not a little bit. So they just claimed that for no reason, really. You just tarred your entire community as people who kill children for no reason, which I don't see any end goal to, like, you're just making things worse for everybody else. But yeah, that's The Infernal Gospel. I'm not the biggest fan of this book, but some of you may enjoy it. After all, we all have different tastes in books and all that good stuff. I might like Tab al-Jawar and the complete book of Demonolatry, and you guys might fucking hate it. But yeah, so that concludes today's video. I I know it's pretty quick. I kind of rushed this one just because I wanted to get a video out, because after this video I might be offline for quite some time, because I've got personal stuff to deal with, you know. I can't be recording videos every day and staying on Discord all day, you know. I have got I have got things to do. But yeah, the next upload might be in a month, maybe 2, but I've given you guys 2 videos this week to watch, and I think that's good enough for my upload schedule. For me to upload 2 videos in 3 months, you know, that's pretty good for my usual schedule. But yeah, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, drop me a like, drop me a sub, maybe even drop me a comment if you feel like talking to me in the comments. But yeah, that concludes today's video. Enjoy your day, and hail Satan.